As we kind of expected, Adversaries went live today. I'm Professor Vocus, and this is Harry Potter Wizards Unite.
Hello, Professor. I didn't see you there.
So we were guessing Monday or Tuesday. It was definitely Monday. And it was kind of a bummer because it happened a little later in the day because this morning I was actually checking to see because I had my camera ready and I'm like, if they drop early enough, then I can go out and do an episode and actually battle adversaries, that kind of thing. Because I did have some work to do later in the afternoon into the evening. And of course, they dropped a little bit later. So this episode kind of, we'll go back in time a little, but not really. We're going to talk about adversaries for a little bit, and then earlier today I was able to, without my camera but with my phone with me, I was able to battle a couple adversaries, both in the wild, and we'll talk about that in just a sec. But so we'll talk about adversaries and just everything we know about them now that they've been released. And then at the end, we're going to go through the two battles that I had, and we can kind of talk about what's happening and look at the rewards at the end and stuff like that. I was on a Barufio's actually at the time while I was looking for them because I saw there was a lot of high traces and a lot of Death Eaters. So I figured I'd get some experience while I was looking for adversaries. But let's get into the adversaries themselves. So first things first, the main question people started asking right at the beginning is, how can I see them? If I do a tonic for trace detection, will I see them? If I do, are they in the wild? Do I have to get edible dark marks? The answer is yes to some of that. Yes, you can see them in the wild. The two I fought today that you'll see in a little while, both of them, saw them in the wild, haven't even gotten an edible dark mark yet. The second way, edible dark marks, that's going to be the other way. It's like a tonic for trace detection for adversaries. And while you're on an edible dark mark, and actually, let's actually go into it. You can kind of see a little bit. My screen right now, upper left corner, right under the energy, you'll notice there's a new symbol there that you may not have noticed. It is currently gold. Gold means I'm not currently on a dark mark. If it's green, it means you're currently using a dark mark. So then you know you're on one. But if you click on it, it's going to take you to the store. It did give me one. You can see right there. I have one. I didn't purchase this. It was given to me. So anyway, I have the edible dark mark to be used. I guess everybody got one, or maybe it was from beating my first adversary. I'm actually not sure when it appeared. When I went to look, it was there. So let me know in the comments, where did I just get that from? Because I haven't bought one. I'm still at 1,150 something coins. Haven't really messed with anything. So you can see I can buy them. One for $2.95, and I think let's actually we can go to the store. I clicked on the store icon there. Let's head to the store. So edible dark marks times 5 for 1,200. Whew, that's just craziness. And I think while we're here, actually, you see this adversaries potions crate. I'll click on that real quick. 7 healing, 7 wit sharpening, and 7 potent extimulo, because they are useful for fighting adversaries. But that's 950 coins. So you can get 5 for 1,200, and then let me back out. And then back here on this screen, you can see I can buy 1 for $2.95. So that's currently what's available. I don't believe there was anything else in the store that had dark mark. I take that back. I just came back to the store. I wanted to double check. And I thought I saw this earlier. 3 dark marks for $7.95, 5 for 1,200 coins, and then 1 for $2.95. Are they worth it? Well, that's up to you. If you look right here, it says Weasley's Wizarding Wheezes exclusive, summons adversaries, revealing more as you explore. Now, we just compared it to a tonic for trace detection, but tonics give you a lot of traces. Edible dark marks, it says, cannot be used while a tonic for trace detection is active. Duration, 30 minutes. I can tell you during that 30 minutes, and I haven't used one, this is just from reports and people actually doing it, and it's been pretty consistent. People are getting 3. It's 1 every 10 minutes. So you're paying 295 coins to get 1 every 10 minutes. And it is because the battles take a little bit longer. So I guess especially for a lower level player, it might take you that long just to make it through the battle. So I can see why they've spaced it out. In which case, I think they should probably make them cost less. That's a lot of coins for just 3, but that's just my opinion on it. So far, I haven't bought one or used one. I do have that one, but one thing I am going to have to get used to is, edible dark marks, EDM. People keep using that acronym or in the forums and on Reddit and on Discord. And for me, at least, as someone that does enjoy lots of different types of music. When I see EDM, I immediately think of the music type, which is electronic dance music, that club beat. So anyway, people keep putting EDM, so it cracks me up that every time I see it, my brain immediately kicks to think it's that, but it's edible dark marks. Moving on, if you head over to the registry, and you may not notice this immediately until you actually go in, fight some adversaries, but even then you may not notice. But in the registry, if you go to the challenge registry specifically, you can see, oh look, this is the first time I've come here actually since I fought adversaries. It says the ministry has added new adversary pages to the registry under the challenges tab. Collect fragments by defeating adversaries on the map. So you can see it's these first two pages. The first one here is Draco, and it has fragments around him. Fenrir Greyback, and it has fragments around him. You can see I've got some fragments, which gives you a slight indicator at one of the things I might have fought today. Moving down, Gilderoy Lockhart, didn't fight him, but he's got his own page. Slytherin's Basilisk is down here. Aragog is down here. Peter Pettigrew. Ancient Norwegian Ridgeback, you can see, again, I've got some fragments, so a second hint as to what my second foe was today. The Ukrainian Ironbelly, the Hungarian Horntail, and then Narcissa Malfoy. All of these are not lethal. All of these are feared. These are the lower level ones that are going to be around all the time, and we're going to actually go and kind of look at them in just a second, but just know that it's the feared ones. The lethal adversaries will not be out until events. The first event, which is coming up in 3 days and 15 hours, so coming soon. So when we get to that, it says that Fenrir Greyback and young Draco Malfoy terrorize agents in the field. It doesn't mention a lethal one, so I'm not sure if a lethal one's going to appear or if this event will just be about more spawns of the feared ones. We'll find out when that happens, and hopefully we get some information prior to it, and I can have a guide out for you guys about what to expect. So we do have a lot of new registry pages to fill out in that regard, and it is just fun fighting the adversaries, I will say. I'll talk more about it when we get to my battles themselves and about how I feel about how things have started out, at least. In the registry, I essentially just went through the list of all the feared adversaries that are available now. And when you see the battle, you'll see how it rolls. But I did want to show you some things. And here's just 3 example ones. There's really 12 of these right now available. But here's 3 of them, and just an example of how things kind of flow. So this is Draco, Fenrir Greyback, and Gilderoy Lockhart. You can see the 3 of them on the right side there, but you can see to the left it kind of has 2 other creatures. They're kind of minions underneath them. So for Draco, you can see it's a common serpent, an imposing dark wizard, and then Draco himself. And you'll notice the common serpent has a little Magizoologist symbol. The Magizoologist will have proficiency against that, and the imposing dark wizard and Auror will have proficiency against that. But then when you get to Draco, nobody gets any bonuses. You're all fighting Draco or the feared adversary, whichever one it is. You're all fighting that on even ground, so to speak, from a proficiency standpoint. Whereas when you look at Fenrir Greyback, it's an imposing snatcher and then a dangerous werewolf, which both of those professors, that would be me, would have an advantage against them. But then Fenrir, again, even footing, nobody has a proficiency versus him. Although Aurors still have their better crit chance, and Magizoologists will still have their higher health, and Professors will still have those levels. So when you fight them, obviously you'll do different levels of damage, but that's more based on your abilities rather than any proficiencies. I also think it's hilarious that Gilderoy Lockhart has the common, then dangerous pixie, since in the Harry Potter movie as well as the book, when he the Cornish pixies, and he opens the cage and releases them. So those are the 2 things you have to go through to get to him. So if you didn't think about that, it's not lost on me, and I just wanted to pass it on to you guys. By the way, Fenrir Greyback, just in case you're wondering like who is that, Fenrir Greyback is actually Remus Lupin is a werewolf. He's a werewolf because he was bitten by Fenrir Greyback. That's how he fits into the story. In addition to being involved with Voldemort's army and everything, that's another way that he fits into things. I misspoke just a second ago. There's not 12 feared adversaries currently. There's 10. There's 10. I was thinking 4 sets of 3, but it's actually 5 and 5. It's 10 total. But anyway, I put 3 more up here. You can see it's Peter Pettigrew, Ancient Norwegian Ridgeback, which Norwegian Ridgeback would be Norbert from the books, that kind of thing. And then the Ancient Ukrainian Ironbelly, which is the dragon that Harry, Ron, and Hermione used to get out of Gringotts. They rode it. It was like trapped down there in chains after breaking into Bellatrix Lestrange's vault, and then they rode that dragon out. That was a Ukrainian Iron Belly. It's also, if you go to Diagon Alley in Universal Studios, it's that dragon on top that's breathing the fire down. And in my intro, it's the last little section of my intro. That's a Ukrainian Iron Belly. But if you'll notice, they have different lineups leading up to them. Like the Norwegian Ridgeback has like a common troll and then a three-headed dog. So based on that, when you first click on the Dark Mark out in the wild, really well, I say based on the first opponent. When you see the first opponent, it's always the same lineup. So if you saw a common troll, you're like, common troll, I'm getting a Norwegian Ridgeback. The other thing is, up in the corner, and you're going to see this when I show you my battles in a little bit, up in the upper right corner of the screen, you're going to see that it actually kind of already has a picture of it. But just in case you forgot the picture, I guess, but then you'd still have to memorize that the common troll goes with the Norwegian Ridgeback, it's still going to be, the picture's going to be up there. So if you're doing Draco, you're going to see Draco's picture, and you'll see, and it'll say like 1 out of 3, 2 out of 3 until you get to him. So as I said, I was out earlier today when this dropped, and I didn't have my camera with me, but I did have my phone, so I had time to go and look for some adversaries. So I actually went over to Waverly Place, one of the places I've played a ton. It's been very rainy though and cold. It was about 45, 46 degrees, and it was still very wet out. So definitely not the great conditions to be playing in. But I did manage to get 2 adversary battles in. And the funny thing is, I was looking for them around a very populated area, and I started to walk around, to actually walk some of my port keys a little, and I ended up seeing 2 right next to each other. So I ended up getting both of them. That's my 2 battles. But it wasn't even the main area where there was like a ton of Death Eaters and a bunch of other stuff I was returning, and actually on Abrufio's at that time. I'm on Abrufio's for both of these battles too, so the experience numbers will be a little skewed. But hopefully you can see, I did actually go to like the breakdown, so you can see how much I was getting from the Brufios, and then how much, because it was the first time I caught something. And then, so I think it was around 250 experience for a returning these. All right, so let's look at my first battle. All right, so you can see the 2 dark marks. I'm scanning around. You can see 2 dark marks right next to each other. They're green. I just clicked on one. So we're just going along. So adversaries are a powerful new type of foe that appear in succession. For instance, feared chains, like this one, consist of an arch foe, the boss, and 2 guards. Defeat all the guards to challenge the arch foe. So they actually do walk you through this. To help you overcome these fearsome foes, we provided you with a witch sharpening potion. So yeah, they did give me one, and I had like 4 more. I used them all. This useful, it'll efficacy versus adversaries by 50%, so it does help you there. Boom. So first up is this imposing snatcher, and then it says 1 out of 3 adversaries until Fenrir Greyback. So that was that upper right. You can see the portrait. I can already see it's Fenrir Greyback if I'm not sure who my end guy is. So did start to fight him. Look at that first hit. That first hit took a bunch off, which I was very surprised at, and he did very little damage to me. But he did get 2 attacks in. I did find that these first 2, the guards for this, in both of my battles today, the guards for both of them, it really wasn't a big deal. They were pretty easy to get through. I didn't even feel like the need to use potions. Congratulations, you defeated the first adversary in the chain. Collect your rewards, and so you can see Fenrir's gang member. I got a fragment of that. And then it says next up, Dangerous Werewolf. It even tells me what's next. And then getting my experience. So first time collected, 250, Brain Elixir, 525. I got a bonus from that. So down here at the summary, you can see I got a fragment, 875 experience, 1 field guide, and then it says next foe, so you can just go to the next guy. Notice at the top it did say fragment 0 out of 10 of this particular, the Dangerous Werewolf on this page. Again, crit on the first hit. I am proficient against this, but crit on the first hit and did pretty good damage. And I'm pointing that out because I want you to see when I get to Fenrir Greyback and my second battle that it's not so much the case against the feared guys. Nice. So I got another crit there and made short work of the second guy, which means I'll be moving on. So Fenrir's / Death Eater robes. So by beating these guys, you can get fragments from Fenrir's page. It could be anything. So again, it says 1,000 experience there. That includes the Brufios. So here's Fenrir. I'm fighting him already. He cracks his neck and snarls, it says. So him, watch this first hit. You probably can't even see on my screen right now. And you can see I went right to potions. I did the tiniest sliver of damage against him. He's like taunting me. So even that was the wit sharpening, and I got a little bit more. So I'm like, you know what? We're gonna I threw on a regular stimulo. I kind of wanted to start testing out what things do. So he didn't do a ton to me, so that's also good. Now, granted, I'm a professor. If you're a magizoologist or an auror, these totals are gonna be different. You'll do different amounts of damage. You'll take different amounts of damage. Not because of any proficiencies, just because your own defenses are better or worse. So that crit I just got right there actually took a pretty big chunk out of him, which was nice. It was at this point I was worried he might get some attacks in a row, but I felt like I could probably still hold off, but I do use a healing potion in just a moment. So at this point, both of us are getting low. I'm on a strong extimulo, but no wit sharpening. Just going with strong stimulo, kind of trying to see, does this do a lot of damage? Do I have to have the wit sharpening? And the answer for him, at least, is no. The strong, I do enough damage. I could go back and forth, but I used the healing right here, you can see. I had to use the healing, but as many hits as I've taken, that healing, boom, I'm all the way back up to the top. So then I'm like, nice. Now I've got a lot more time. So really, it's just time. Essentially, I could have done this whole battle with just healing potions, just doing little bits of damage to him. It would have been a long time, and then the healing potions. You can see there's no timer. We have unlimited time to go back and forth. And when you go to the potion screen, you have as much time as you want. Boom, so there you go. He was down to the last 36. I did damage to him, and there you go. You defeated Fenrir Greyback and all of their guards. So I got his wand fragment, and then I got him, which is an archive fragment. So I got the fragment of him plus something else. And when you defeat an adversary, you're going to get the fragment of them, plus you'll get something else from their page. So Fenrir's wand, and then him. 1 defense against Dark Art Book. This is how you'll grind them out. It is possible to get more. By the way, you can see I just did the bonus rewards. I broke that out. Just the fact that you don't get that much experience. Sorry about the sound changing right in the middle of that. I'm not even sure where it cut off. I'll find out in editing itself. But my lavalier mic, I actually recorded sound separately, and the batteries on that recorder actually ran out like somewhere in the middle of that. I'm not even, like I said, sure where yet, but that's why the sound changed, and that's why we're back to normal now. So anyway, looking at that first battle against Fenrir, certainly the guards really were no problem at all. It didn't seem like you would need to use potions. I didn't point it out. I'll try to point it out in the second battle we're about to watch. But you heal in between people. If you die at any time, you would have to repeat everything. So if I made it to Fenrir and died, I would have to go through his 2 guards again and go to him again. But if I take a bunch of damage on the second adversary, or the second guard, when I get to Fenrir, I'm back to full health. So that is something I was surprised. I actually thought it would carry over because you have healing potions anyway. But just note that if you're really close on, like, say you're getting low on a second guy, but you're about to defeat him anyway, don't waste any healing potions, because as soon as you beat him, you're going to heal going into the next battle. All right, even though that first battle went pretty smoothly, let's go ahead and look at my second battle. So I just clicked on it. It was still there so that stayed there the whole time I fought that first one, and it was still there. So you can see Ancient Norwegian Ridgeback. It's up in the corner. It's kind of walking me through things still. Anyway, you can see it's a common troll here at the beginning, who, again, that first hit, I didn't do a ton of damage, but it was a big enough chunk, and look what he's doing to me, which means I can go back and forth. I did throw a strong extimulo on here, you can see, mainly to see how much of a difference it would make. And that made a big difference. 1 crit, and I ended up hitting him. So that was 2 hits, no potion, and a strong. So here, oh, there it is. That's how I got it. Look, +1. I got an EDM. Dance music. No, but I did get an edible death mark. That's where I got it from. I hadn't even looked at this footage yet. Anyway, 3-headed dog is next. And of course, I'm thinking the 3-headed dogs we're used to seeing, I'm expecting it to be about like that. He was definitely a bit tougher. So as you can see, I am on a strong extimulo, but my hits aren't doing a ton. His aren't doing a ton either. So again, it just comes down to time. Like at this rate, we could just kind of go back and forth. But I am on a strong extimulo, like I said, and we could probably go back and forth. If I wasn't on anything at all, I think it would be more difficult for me to trade blows. It would also just take a long time, and I did want to speed things up. So I actually used a wit sharpening here too. At this point in the battle, I'm on an extimulo potion. I've used a healing potion because he's been doing a lot of times where he does like 3 attacks in a row, and I'm always worried that he's going to knock me down before I can drink a potion, because once they're in this phase here where they're hitting you, you can't get out of that. So I heard somebody, a Gilderoy Lockhart, hit them 4 times in a row and ended up doing so much damage they ended up dying, not thinking they were going to need a healing potion. So I've been erring on the side of caution for that. But anyway, I went down to an Extimulo, and then even after that ran out, I knew at this point we could trade back and forth, and I would re-heal, so I'm like, I'm good. And I was able to beat him. So again, these two, not as big a deal. And I got a fragment of the Norwegian Ridgeback Spine, which again is just on that page. Got 1,000 experience, but the 1,000 experience does include 600 and then 250, so that's 850 from it's the first time and the Brain Elixir bonus. So it skews how much I'm actually getting. Anyway, it gets to this. Watch this right off the bat. I can't even believe I pulled that off on the first try. That was crazy. I've tried to hit a healing potion here for some reason, but witch sharpening potion, yes, for sure. Because you can see I didn't do any damage. I mean, it was so tiny, it almost made no difference. And look how much damage he did to me. The hard part here is he gets multiple attacks off. Dragon's definitely been difficult. And then I'm definitely putting on, I went for a potent Extimulo on this, but it's so hard to track him. Look at this thing. It's just all over the place. Now, immediately I did start to try to, and you should do this too, start to figure out the pattern. He made a triangle. It went all over the place, but it was kind of a triangle. So once I could figure that out, it was better. Now, one thing you're going to see in a sec, I think I missed 3 in a row, and he just keeps hitting me, and I have to do healing potions, is because I'm on the witch sharpening and that, my hands were getting cold, because at this point I'd been out for about 30 minutes, 45 degrees, cold, and then wet. And so my hands were actually really cold. So as I'm trying to do it, I'm trying to stay focused on this. Oh, I was struggling. I was definitely struggling. And again, since he hits multiple times in a row, I wanted to always stay topped off on healing. I used a lot of potions for him, I will say that. You can see me struggling here. I did get it. This is about the time in the battle when I started to figure out, like, okay, it's this triangle pattern. Again, you can see I'm going for the healing potion right now because he knocked me down 1 or 2 good hits and he's going to get me. Again, I'm on a witch sharpening and a potent still right now, and I'm just not doing a lot of damage. And he's still taking off pretty good chunks of me. Nice. I just got a crit right before I just came back here. But you can see he's at 32, so I'm still on the witch sharpening. I'm still on an Extimulo, so I'm pretty sure as soon as I get my next hit, yeah, that I'm going to get success. Still, though, I used a lot of potions. I'm curious how much less I can use in the way of potions and still be able to pull it off. So as you can see, I got another Norwegian Ridgeback Spine, and then the fragment of the Ridgeback itself. Defense Against Dark Arts book, 1250 experience, so pretty good. 8 guides, not really needing them massively. So although I ended up having to use a ton of potions and everything, I was successful. The real question is that how things are going to have to go throughout the whole time to be able to always be successful? Do I have to use that many potions all the time? And I would say, I guess, no. One thing I have not done yet, and I did it on purpose, is though both of those battles, I have not touched the new tree, the Adversary tree, that gives me better either precision, crit strike chance, or dodge, which means I'm going to take less damage. I didn't do either of those, which completely relates to everything you just saw there. Everything, because the next part of the tree, the lower part of the tree that you have to build toward, that is actually for lethal adversaries. So I haven't even invested in it. I wanted to see how battles went and see what's more important. I also kind of wanted to look at the community and stuff, and I'm still not going to do it for this episode. There's a good chance tomorrow, for tomorrow's episode, we are going to go fight some adversaries, and I am going to invest in the tree based on what I just experienced and then some research I'm going to do right after I get done filming this video to see where people think things are right now. I want to know about other adversaries is what it comes down to, and not just limit it to the 2 I fought. Although that dragon, I've already seen some reports that said that was probably one of the worst ones I could have fought. So I'm glad I got to see it, at least how bad it can be. If you haven't had a chance to get out and fight any adversaries, I hope this video helps you prepare for your first encounter with them and kind of know what the flow is as you go along. I guess bottom line, maybe have some potions ready for this first go just before, because you don't know what you're going to get and you may need them. Oh, before we go, I almost forgot to include this, which is, let's go to the registry quick. This is probably the best part of all that I didn't realize was going to be a thing. So we do get Defense Against Dark Arts books. When we return them, we get one, and then I asked you in the comments to let me know if any guards have dropped them for you, if you have a chance to get two. And I'm like, oh yeah, one or two, you can grind them out. It gets so much better. I'm going to go to the challenge registry. Let's go to any old page. I'll just go to the Fenrir. Oh, nope. Fenrir's page right there. So I'm on Fenrir's page. So let's just click on Fenrir. 1 out of 9. So if I fight him 9 times and place the image, look at the rewards at the bottom here. I get 80 challenge experience. Yay. But look right next to that. 4 Defense Against Dark Arts books. And when this page gets to bronze, I will get 9 every time I place his image. And when I get to silver, I'll get 20. And then it's 42 at gold. Now, granted, you're going to have to probably fight him a lot of times, but that's 42 books, and it's a way to grind them out. The fragments themselves have their own breakdown. The 15 fragment ones go 2, 5, 12, 25 for Defense Against Arts books. The 0 out of 12 foundable, which is probably his wanted poster, goes 3, 7, 15, 32, so bigger. And then his wand is the same thing, 3, 7, 15, and 32. So the 2 of them are one kind of ratio, 2 or the other. You can look at it yourself when you go to your screen. But it just means that's another way we can grind out Defense Against Dark Arts books to really progress on those areas, especially on the adversary tree, which is where I'm going to focus my books. Because I feel like I have 100 and something right now, but instead of getting the gold gift, which some people have asked me, hey, you're going to get the gold gift? So I can give out gold gifts. And it is great, but then once I get the gold gift, I have no Defense Against Dark Arts books, and it's going to take me a while to build back up. If I invest them in the adversary tree, then that means I'll be better against adversaries. I can grind them out, which will in turn get me Defense Against Dark Arts books, and I can start that kind of engine rolling a little bit quicker. So that's my strategy there, that I'm going to invest in the tree first, and then I'll kind of loop back around and start using books over in the SOS nodes as I build them back up. There is still so much more we can talk about adversaries, although a lot of it's more speculative. I feel like more information needs to come out. I want to fight more. So over the coming next couple of days, you're probably going to see more information in my videos. So if you haven't already subscribed, consider subscribing. I will be putting out more information as it becomes available, more statistics on what's better to use versus certain things, stacking potions, how good is that kind of thing. And then we have the event coming this weekend, so I'll definitely have information about the event once it comes out. As always, thank you guys for watching today's video. Very excited about adversaries, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Nox.